Trouble in the All Blacks, coach, folks. Right as they're about to get on a plane to head to South Africa, assistant coach Leon MacDonald has decided to step down from his role, leaving the All Blacks with a bit of a vacancy in their backs and attacking role. What's gone down? We'll go through it pretty quick, and you guys can let us know your thoughts, how disruptive this is going to be. Obviously not ideal when you're about to, as I say, face basically your biggest challenge of the year. With these 2 away games in South Africa, under a lot of pressure with the way the Rugby Championship table is standing at the moment after 2 weeks of play. And your head coach and your assistant coach aren't getting along to the point where Leon has decided to step down. It's also a weird one because these guys have worked together before. Like when Leon MacDonald was the Blues coach and he decided to step back into being an assistant, it kind of seemed like a step down. Like he was doing really well at the Blues, having turned the franchise around from being kind of perennial underachievers to a contender, to then take the assistant role at the All Blacks seemed like an interesting career choice, especially because Leon MacDonald was linked with Scotland. And you're thinking you've got a chance, to cut your teeth internationally as a head coach, reportedly. Doesn't take it, goes back to being an assistant coach, which you could see as a step down. He's not the first assistant coach to get a head coaching role and then go back to being an assistant. Tony Brown's done it. He's been the head coach of the Sunwolves for a season. Went back to being an assistant coach under Jamie Joseph. Jason Holland was a head coach at the Hurricanes. Now he's an assistant with Scott Robertson at the All Blacks. So far from the first and only guy to do it, but you have to wonder if, having been a head coach, having had that final say, and now having to kind of toe the line, maybe proved to be a bit much. They have worked together before, though, at the under-20s and at Crusaders level, as far as I'm aware. Both times Leon MacDonald was an assistant to Razor. So it's not like he hasn't worked with the guy before directly as his assistant. But this time, for whatever reason, they just couldn't see eye to eye. Razor was quoted as saying, "Leon and I have been having some honest conversations with each other for a little while now. And as coaches, we have differing views," which is probably the key quote here. Because if you guys aren't on the same page about the way to run the attack, it's maybe no wonder that things have been a little bit muddled, seemingly, as the new coaching staff has been bedding things in. And we've both agreed it wasn't working, so it's best for the team, basically, that they part ways. So it's probably best they got this done relatively early in the piece. We're only, how many games? 5 games in to Scott Robertson's coaching tenure. You'd rather them come to this conclusion now than for it to drag on and have guys under mixed messages. Well, Leon wants us to do this, but Razor wants us to do that. You'd rather have everybody on the same page. So they're not going to open up the coaching role that Leon was handling with the backs in the attack to anybody new just yet. 2 of the existing assistant coaches, Tamati Ellison and Scott Hansen, are going to take over in that role. So they'll be taking on additional duties to what they were already doing to fill the gap by Leon MacDonald. So, yeah, really, really bizarre situation, especially when you consider MacDonald at the time when he got the job was said, assistant role suits me. And it's really kind of suits him well at the moment, was basically what he said, but apparently not. And despite all the stuff that we had kind of seen when Razor was initially appointed and was talking about kind of, everybody having their own responsibilities. You look after your area, this guy looks after this area. Selections will be done based on kind of collecting of opinions based on who's looking after what area. Basically seems like Razor's the boss and that everyone needs to kind of sing off his hymn sheet, which is, that's the way it should be, I think. If it's coaching by too much of a committee, you feel like the message can get a bit diluted. So as I said, if it wasn't working, I'm pleased as an All Blacks fan that they kind of ripped this Band-Aid off now rather than let it fester and, have any kind of confusion or dissenting figures within the ranks. Get everybody on the same page and hopefully tracking in the right direction. You guys let us know what your thoughts are. Where do you see Leon MacDonald going from here? He potentially, career-wise, doesn't put himself in an easiest of positions because his stocks were really high when he left the Blues. He may have to look abroad for his next coaching gig, I would imagine, because There's probably not that much available here in NZ at the moment at the level that he would like. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See ya.